The 10 exercises that can improve ataxia and balance. Do you have ataxia? Ataxia is discoordinated movement. It's often caused from problems like strokes, head injuries, or other neurological problems. My name is Doug. I've been a physical therapist for 30 years. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10 exercises that I use to help people decrease ataxia and improve their balance. With both hands on the countertop, you want to shift your weight over one leg, lifting the other leg off the ground, and then try to let go of the countertop, balancing for as long as you can. So you want to do the right leg and then shift over to the left leg. And you keep repeating it. The goal of this exercise is to do it for 20 seconds on each leg 3 times in a row. So that means standing on the right leg for 20 seconds, repeating that 3 times without holding the countertop, and then do it on the left leg 3 times for 20 seconds without holding the countertop. In the beginning, you're going to be holding the countertop quite a bit. In fact, most people when they do this exercise find that they can only stand for 1 second, maybe not even a full second, before they have to grab back on. Don't let that discourage you. Most people have trouble with this exercise. The reason they have trouble is because they're not fully shifting their weight over the leg they're standing on. If you find that you can't do this for even 1 second, I'm almost positive it's because you're not shifting your weight. So what you want to do is grab the countertop with both hands and fully shift your weight over one leg. You should feel balanced when you do this. When you fully shift, you're going to get to a place where you feel that it's a little bit easier to stand there. That's when you want to let go of the countertop and try to maintain that position. With one hand on the countertop, you're simply going to walk backwards. This just means walking like you normally do forward, 1 foot in front of the other, but you're only going to be moving backwards. You should only go 2 to 3 steps because you don't want to get away from your countertop. After you go 2 to 3 steps, you're going to turn around and walk in the other direction 2 to 3 steps with your hand on the countertop. Now the goal of this exercise is to walk 2 to 3 steps in both directions, repeating that 3 times without holding the countertop. But in the beginning, you're going to find that you're going to have to grab the countertop every so often. In fact, the first few times you do this, you may be holding the countertop the entire time. Over time, your balance will get better and you can let go of the countertop more and more. You want to work towards the goal of being able to let go of the countertop the entire time that you're walking backwards. To do pillow squats, you need a sturdy and safe chair. If it has armrests, that makes it even easier, but it doesn't have to. You also need 1 or 2 pillows. If you find that you're very weak and standing up from a chair is extremely difficult for you without holding onto the chair, I suggest starting with 2 pillows. The way you want to do the exercise is without holding on, try to stand up and sit back down on the pillows. You don't want to do this too quickly, and you don't want to bounce when you come down. So you want to stand up and then sit down gently on the pillows. The goal of this exercise is to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions, resting about 1 minute between each set. A lot of people are not going to be able to do this exercise without pushing with their hands, and that's fine. In the beginning, it's fine if you have to push your hands on the seat of the chair or on the armrest to help yourself stand up. What's important is that over time, you use your hands less and less. Over time, the goal is to do this without holding on at all. You can even cross your hands over your chest to keep you from using your hands on the armrest. What's really important is trying to do this for 3 sets of 10 repetitions. The next exercise is called hamstring curls. To do this, you want to be standing up and holding on to something to keep your balance. Then you want to bend your knee up behind you like you're trying to kick your bottom. So you want to lift your leg up as high as it'll go, And what that's doing is tightening the hamstring muscle. You want to hold it for a second and bring it back down, and then do the other leg. Your goal for this exercise is to do 20 repetitions on each leg for 3 sets. But in the beginning, you might only be able to do 5 or 6 repetitions for 3 sets. You want to slowly build yourself up over time. Don't feel bad if you can't do 3 sets of 20 in the beginning. That's your goal. To do heel to toe walking, you want to have one hand on a countertop. Then you're going to walk heel to toe, which means walk so that the heel of the foot that's forward touches the toe of the foot that's behind. So it looks like you're walking on a tightrope. Now, some people find that it's easier to have a tape line or some kind of mark on the ground to walk along to help them walk heel to toe, but you don't have to have that. You can simply walk with your heel of the forward foot touching the toe of the backward foot. The goal of this exercise is to walk 3 to 4 steps in each direction without holding the countertop, repeating that 3 times. So walking heel to toe in one direction, 3 steps, turn around, the other direction, repeating that process 3 times without holding the countertop. Now in the beginning, you're probably going to be holding the countertop the entire time, and that's fine. That's how we regain our balance. We challenge ourselves. What you want to do is, after you get some confidence, is start to let go of the countertop occasionally. Then try to let go of the countertop more and more. Maybe as you take each step, try to let go and only grab on if you lose your balance. You need to struggle to do this without holding the countertop at all, but you have to progress to that. So it's perfectly fine if you touch the countertop in the beginning, but the more you practice it, the more you should be letting go. The second exercise is called Stepovers. To do a step over, you need something to step over. You can use a towel, you can use a line on the ground, or even an object. You want to have something nearby to hold on to, like the back of a chair, the countertop, a kitchen sink. And what you want to do is simply step over with both feet in one direction and then step back in the other direction. So you're going to go to the right with both feet and then to the left with both feet. You do need to leave yourself room for your foot to hit the ground. So if your right leg is coming over, you have to bring it far enough over that there's room for your left leg, and vice versa. The goal for this exercise is to be able to do it 3 times in each direction without holding the countertop. But in the beginning, it's perfectly fine to hold the countertop the entire time. As you get better at this, you can let go more and more until you reach the goal of being able to do it 3 times in each direction without holding on. To do this exercise, you're going to need 2 things. You want to have something to hold on to steady yourself, and you also need a step. I use an aerobic step that I purchased from the store, but you can use anything that's sturdy. You can use a single block of wood that's about 3 inches tall, a piece of concrete. You can even use a stair inside your house as long as it's not too tall. I would recommend that your step be at least 3 inches, but at the maximum it should be 6 inches tall. Now, to do this exercise, you want to grab onto something to hold on to and then step up on your right leg, bringing your left leg up on the step as well. Then you want to step backwards with the right leg till you're back on the ground. You want to repeat that 10 times on each leg. The goal of this exercise is to step onto the right leg 10 times and then to the left leg 10 times without holding the rail. But in the beginning, you're definitely going to be holding the rail, and you might not even be doing 10 steps. It's perfectly okay just to do 1 or 2 steps in the beginning if it's really fatiguing. You can also use the rail to steady yourself and even help yourself get up onto the step. This is a great exercise that will improve your strength and your balance, so don't feel bad if you have to hold on for the first few times that you do the exercise. What's important is that you work towards letting go completely. What we want is for you to be able to walk up on top of a step without holding anything. Just have your hand nearby the rail just in case you lose your balance. The last exercise is called weight shift. To do a weight shift, you need something sturdy next to you. You can use a countertop, a bar, even the kitchen sink, something sturdy to hold on to. And what you want to do is put all your weight on one leg, bringing your other leg off the ground, and then put all your weight on the other leg, bringing the opposite leg off the ground. It kind of looks like you're dancing. You're going to sway to the right, sway to the left. It's very difficult to get your foot off the ground when you do it, so you might need to hang on to the countertop the first few times you practice it. But this is an exercise that doesn't really work unless you're letting go of the countertop. So go as slow as you want, but you want to be able to let go of the countertop and bring one foot off the ground as you put all your weight on the other leg. This exercise helps you learn how to shift your weight. Most people who have trouble standing on one leg can't do it because they're not willing to shift their weight. So this is a great way of practicing weight shift without risking a fall. You want to have the countertop next to you the whole time, but try not to hold it. The goal is to do this 3 times in each direction. So 3 times to the right and 3 times to the left. To do tapping on a step safely, you're going to need 2 things. One is you need something to tap. It could be a piece of tape on the floor, or it could be an aerobic step or anything that is easy for you to tap. The other thing is you're going to need 1 or 2 things to hold on to. You can use the back of 2 chairs. You can use a countertop in a chair. I recommend having something on your right and your left when you do this exercise. Now, to do the exercise, you want to tap your foot forward onto the object, just tapping your foot. So tap your right foot, then tap your left foot. You're not putting any pressure on the thing you're tapping onto. So you're just standing, lifting one leg off the ground, bringing it forward, tapping it, then putting that foot down and going onto the other leg. So you're going to go right leg tap, left leg tap, right leg tap, left leg tap. The goal of this exercise is to do it 20 times on each leg without holding on. But in the beginning, you're going to need to hold on. You might find that you're losing your balance the entire time. That's okay. Hold on if you need to the first few times that you do it. But what you want to try to do is let go when you're doing the tap. This exercise is not really beneficial if you're holding on the whole time because you're not going to shift your weight. The purpose of these exercises is to teach you to shift your weight over the leg you're standing on. That's going to help your walking and improve your balance. So you want to be letting go while you're shifting to the right and tapping your left foot, letting go while you're shifting to the left and tapping your right foot. But it's okay if occasionally you grab onto the chairs to steady yourself. You don't want to fall while you're doing this exercise. You want to keep practicing this every day until you can get good enough to reach your goal. Now, to do this exercise, you're going to need 2 things. One is a step, and the other is something to hold on to that's sturdy. I'm using an aerobic step and a countertop. But if you want, you can use a stair in your home as long as there's a rail next to the stairs for you to grab onto. What you want to do is stand on the step facing down. Then you want to step forward with one leg, putting your foot on the ground, and then bring the other leg onto the ground. So you're stepping down onto the right leg first, then backward step back up onto the step with the same leg. So step down with the right, and then step backwards up on the right. Your goal with this exercise is to repeat it 10 times on each leg. So 10 times you're going to step down on the right leg and back up, and then 10 times on the left leg, down and up. You want to do this as a goal without holding on. But in the beginning, this is a difficult exercise. It's especially hard to step backwards up onto a step. It takes a lot of strength. So it's fine to grab onto the rail when you practice it. It's also important, if you're struggling, to use the lowest step possible. For some people, 3 inches is the most they can step up without having too much trouble or without having to grab onto the rail. It's better to do this on a lower step in the beginning so that you can do it repeatedly as you build your strength. Then as you get stronger, you can progress to a taller step. The goal again is to use a 6-inch step and be able to step up and down 10 times with each leg leading. So the 10 exercises I just showed you are a little bit different than other programs. You don't want to try to do all 10 of them. What you want to do is start with the first exercise and try to master it. Once you feel you can do the first exercise easily, then move on to the next exercise. This is something that usually takes weeks, if not months. You don't want to do all 10 exercises each session. You want to try to build the exercises. I tried to order the exercises in difficulty. So the first exercise should be the easiest and the last exercise should be the most difficult. You want to try to progress through this, doing 1 or 2 of the exercises each time that you practice it, and only moving on to the next exercise once you really feel comfortable with the one that you're doing. Now, these exercises are all to address the biggest problem that people have after a stroke, which is ataxia. Ataxia is when your movement just isn't right. It's when you try to move your leg forward or your arm forward, and instead of it being a nice smooth motion, it looks robotic or jerky, or it's just more difficult to move. That's ataxia. What's happening is the wrong muscles are contracting at the wrong time. And the best way to get over ataxia and over the stiffness from a stroke is to do balance challenging activities. A lot of people have had the wrong approach to stroke in the past. Many people do things like stretching or trying to do a lot of strength training exercises. But the research has shown that those 2 types of activities are not effective in helping someone regain their abilities after a stroke because they don't address the main problem. After a stroke, you're not able to produce fluid motion because your brain has sort of lost the ability to control your muscles the way it did before the stroke. So when you've had a stroke, doing strength training exercises doesn't help because the problem is not in your muscles, it's in your brain. Doing balance challenging activities like the ones in this video are really the most effective way to regain control of your muscles and regain control of your movement because it helps you relearn the programs for motion that you had prior to your stroke. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you would like to find a trainer or physical therapist that can do this type of rehabilitation, please direct them to my website, www.proprioceptiverehab.com. This website has links to courses that I've designed for physical therapists and for trainers to help them learn these techniques.